the shears?
Yeah, they got
Hey friends, welcome back to the Hideaway Homestead, and on today's episode we're going to be working on our chicken coop build from the Reclaimed Lumber. Last week I went through and I built the bottom part of the chicken coop over in the overhang. This week though I'm going to be working on putting it in here, getting it kind of leveled out in the spot where we're wanting it, and putting some of the framing up for the walls. If time permits, I'll start putting some of the slats on the side, for like the siding for the building. Again, if we have time to get to it. As usual, please click like if you like our content. Smash that like button. And if you want to catch our new episodes that are out every Thursday, please hit subscribe. And we would also appreciate it if you shared our content with your friends and family. That really helps us out. So let's get to it. Sorry for the wind, and hopefully you can hear me. I'll try to talk loud from back here. So what we have here is we actually have some center block, and again we're trying to use up stuff that we already had, and these pieces of center block were actually here at the homestead when we moved in various places. Probably, you know, the prior owners were probably using them for various things, so we wanted to reuse these. And what I'm going to do, and Vanessa's going to help me, we're going to lift the table up, and this is kind of like where we want this. We want the floor to be sitting about like this to the road. We're going to lift this up and put these center block, these footers, in where we want this to go. We can then move this out of the way, level it, and then place this back on it, and that's where it's going to be permanently sitting. Okay, so here's the plan. What we're going to do is these two stones are higher up than these down here. So ideally we want to bring those down so that we can make them level to these. And we want all four to be in the ground at least a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check that these two back here are level across. And I'm just going to use the level and get them where they need to be so that they're level across. And I'll dig down a little bit and kind of clean it up. Then we have this old ladder that was left here at the house too. It's pretty level, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that to do the length wise, and I can do the same thing. I'm going to put the level on the ladder and and then that's when I'll work on these stones over here. Once that's done, I'll level those two on that side, and the coop will be about as level as we can get it. Again, does not have to be perfect. I think I said that like 20 times in the last video. It's a chicken coop, but we also don't want it leaning, so you know, if all the chickens are just kind of rolling out in the morning out into the run. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then we will get the table or the floor back in place. We have some gravel over here. There was a little bit of a pile that was left over, I think, when they were taking care of our septic tank for us. So we're going to use some of that gravel too to help with drainage and to help level things out. Okay, you can see here, this side over here either needs to come down some, or, and this is what we're going to probably do, this side here needs to come up some so that we can get that bubble right in the middle. So we can add a little more gravel and that'll take care of it. Okay, and you can see now that the bubble is sitting pretty close to the middle. And you can see here, you know, we have the level sitting directly across so that we can make sure that these two are level to one another. We're going to now go ahead and start working on the ones over on the other side. Yeah, you're in that way a little bit. There you go, too much. Yep. Yeah, that's good. Just gonna hang those off the end.
Yeah.
Put these on here too, upside down. We have all the lumber over here now, and what we're going to do is we kind of want the tallest part of the building to be here in the front, and we're going to want it to slope down towards the back of the hill. We're not going to put cross beams in the bottom, at least not here on the front, because I want that lip to be there, or I don't want a lip to be there anyway, and I don't think it's going to add that much reinforcement. And plus, we're kind of short on lumber. I'm kind of worried we're not going to have enough reclaimed lumber to do everything. But I'm going to go ahead and lift this beam up here, and I wanted to show you a trick. If you don't have anybody else helping you, Vanessa is helping me, but she's hiding behind camera. If you don't have anybody else to help you though, clamps, these make a great pair of hands, right? So I can sit here and I can do stuff like this. I can actually clamp this down, and if I do the same thing on this side, I now have a place that I can set that piece of wood and get it where I want it so that I know where I need to get it cut off. Right, so I can take this now, kind of set it there, set it here, and it acts like another set of hands, so that I can make sure I'm getting my cut and stuff set up the way I want it. And this one's pretty close. Like, this one is pretty close to where it needs to be already. So again, I want to do a relative cut, which means I'm going to kind of flush this up as much as I can on this side and just let it sit. And then I'm going to mark the back of this side. And it's not going to be exactly plumb, but that's fine. It's chicken coop. I keep telling myself that. There we go. So now I've got the back of this marked, and I know where I need to cut it so that I can get it to fit in here and cinch in good. And I'm going to leave these hands here because I'm going to be using those in a minute. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use pocket screws again. And I kind of explained how the pocket screws work in last week's episode. So if you didn't catch that, I would watch that and you'll be able to figure this part of it out. you the other side. And if you didn't see the first episode, this is, and I'm not sponsored, and I'm not an affiliate, but this is Type Bond 3. It's waterproof wood glue. It's different than Type Bond 2, so don't just pick up the regular wood glue from the store. But you're gonna want this waterproof, or you could use construction adhesive. But this will last a long time for you. Just gonna put a little bit on here. It's okay if it gets on your clamp. Fine. Okay, and for these pocket holes, I'm actually going to use these, they're coated. They don't have to be coated. I mean, it's just what I have, but these are coated pocket hole screws, but they're longer. This way I can get it to drive in there better. I definitely don't want to skimp right here in case there's weight on the roof. And we'll cinch it up after we get the other side done. Just to help further reinforce this, to make sure these beams are good, I'm going to, even though I put the pocket holes in, I'm going to go ahead and drill a countersink on this side here, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and put at least one of these deck screws in. Just give me that comfy, warm feeling that we're not going to have any problems. Oh, can't believe this happened, folks. The project almost came to a crashing end. We were short one of the long boards, which is really hard to get off of pallet and reclaimed wood. So I had to resort to, yep, I'm sure some of you are going to burn me up in the comments. Essentially, this is a piece of just standard 2x4 that you can get from like Lowe's or Home Depot or any other big box store. And I had this left over from a workbench build that I did a couple of years ago, but it's about the size that I need, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Yep. Okay, so now what we're going to have to do is, obviously there's a bit of a slant here, and I didn't really measure it. I made it a 1 foot difference from front to back, and I'm sure there's some sort of math behind it where you can figure it out, but I find the easiest thing to do is to go like this, okay? And the distance between here and here is going to be exactly the same from up here and here, and so is the slope. So there's going to be an angled cut that's going to be needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of go back a little ways, lift that one up, take my pencil, and kind of mark those off. So as you saw a second ago, I went ahead and put my marks on here, and they're definitely at an angle. So the nice thing about having a miter saw is I can kind of come in and get the angle where I need it. So let me go a little bit more. I am going to cut it a little proud, which means I'm going to leave a little bit extra on the end because those posts are kind of bowed a little towards one another. And so what I can do is I can go up there and try to get it so that it's as square as possible. And if it's not, I bring it back over here and just take a little more off the edge until we can get it where we want it. As you can see here, you actually can still do a pocket hole on a board that's at an angle. You just have to make sure you do some adjustments to scooch the board over so that you're leaving yourself enough space. Okay, and same thing on this side. Make sure you're leaving yourself enough space so that that gap's there that you can get the drill bit down in there. So we went ahead and cut out both of our angled sides, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did with these. I'm just going to put some wood glue on there, put it in, cinch it in with some pocket screws, and just to reinforce it, I'm going to do a deck screw on each side. Okay, so what I've done here is I went and got one of the pieces of pallet wood that Vanessa and the kids have been working on. And this is just one of the slats that are in it. And I'm just kind of going to butt it up against here, and I wanted to see about how long this is. And because I was thinking about going ahead and putting some, like a reinforcing beam here. Okay, and then possibly another one on this opposite side. The middle I need to leave alone because I'm going to end up having the door sitting here. So I'll probably have to maybe frame the door out a little bit, but I feel like these are really good sized. They're going to fit really nicely here when we start building the sidewall up. everybody, that is a wrap for today. I got everything accomplished that I wanted to get accomplished. Let's get a good shot in here. I probably just showed you a couple of really good shots, but you can see we've got all the framing up. We have to put some beams across for the roofing. That might end up being the next episode actually, but let me take you over here real quick. This front area here is going to be a door, and I don't plan on putting any lip here at the bottom. I'll probably put a piece of wood here that we can like slide in and out from behind one of the studs here, so that I can so that we can do the deep litter method. We want to just continue to throw bedding on top of it, and shavings and sawdust and whatever, because we kind of want to make sure that we only have to clean it out so often, like once or twice a year, probably twice a year, in the fall and in the in the springtime. Okay, as you can see here on this back side, we're going to want to put in a nesting box, and probably do like 3 on the back. We think probably be sufficient. The hens will actually share nesting boxes, so that's what we're going to be doing there. We don't really have any plans for this back wall. That's back here. I think the idea is that we're obviously gonna have some type of ventilation running along the top entirely. If we feel like it's not getting vented enough, I may end up putting some sort of screen there in the back using some hardware cloth that predators can't get through, or they'll have a hard time getting through. And we can put kind of shutters on it. That way we can open it up even wider at a later time if we want. This section is going to eventually have a door here with a ramp that leads down, and the chickens will be able to come out. And the plan is, back this up a little bit, that this entire area back over through in here, we're going to turn into a run for the chickens. So we'll probably put a screen door facing out towards the road so that we can actually still access it. But this is a very simple project. It's really, as you've been able to tell so far, it really has not taken a lot of extra effort outside of just a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of thought process about how I was wanting things to get set up. And I think the idea here too is that we're gonna probably make another one of these at some point opposite down this way. So there you can see there's plenty of length here next to the road. We're gonna probably put another one in down this way. We'll clear out a little bit, and then we can have the 2 runs kind of butt up against each other. And I think maybe one of those is going to be our laying hens, which is going to be this one, and we might set the other one up so that we could do laying hens, but I think the idea is that the other one might just be for our fryer chickens. As usual, if you like the video, please click like down below, and if you like the content that me and my family are producing, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. We have new episodes out every Thursday, and we do a variety of topics from cooking to woodworking to stuff for the animals, gardening, you name it. We're pretty much doing video content for it at this point. We really hope that you'll come back next week to check out the next episode as we continue the build. And until then, don't forget to make time for dirt time.